Hi, it's Ella. Thank you for being here with me. So I already recorded a video today and posted it, but since I really wanted to record more yesterday, um, I kind of have a lot just floating around on my mind, and so I thought I would just kind of, open this up and talk and see if anything worth sharing comes out. So we'll see. Um, so I had to do some laundry tonight. They do have laundry services here at the hotel, but they are a little pricey, which that is pretty typical for having your laundry done at a hotel. But also, I don't put basically all the clothes that I brought. There's very little that I would put in the dryer, and so anyway, it's not a great option to have someone else wash my clothes when most of them cannot be put in the dryer. So same with, there are laundry services in town, but it's kind of the same deal. Um, they're going to be putting your stuff in the dryer and they might lose some of it, and uh, I brought, I was woefully underpacked for clothing wise. I'm just gonna say that that's the first time ever that I have been so woefully underpacked clothing wise. I brought plenty of clothes to sweat in, like yoga ish, but I didn't bring any clothes like I didn't bring enough shirts and anyway, whatever. So I did some laundry in the sink tonight, which the sink is quite shallow, so I could wash at most like three things at once, three small things. um, so anyway, it's been a long time since I've done laundry in a sink, but you do what you got to do. So now it's all dripping. At least I have two drying racks. So it's all, what I was able to get washed is taking up the drying racks, and so it'll probably take a day or two to dry, probably 2 days to dry. Anyway, I've just spent 3 minutes talking about laundry. Yeah, good job. Um, we're learning so much. It's kind of mind blowing. Um, and I really wish that I have so many friends, and I could name names, but I'm not going to. I have so many friends that I want to introduce to yoga. Um, I believe I deeply believe that yoga is for everyone, that it can be for everyone. And what I really am loving so much about what I'm learning here is that the teacher, his focus is don't force the body into the pose, adjust the pose for the body. That's huge. That's basically my whole philosophy, It's like every body can do yoga. It's a matter of making adjustments and modifications so that you get the benefit of the pose, but you are still protecting your body. You're still caring for your body. Um, you're not obviously not doing anything dangerous or difficult for your joints, but also, anyone with mobility issues, with chronic pain, with amputations, anything, excess weight, I've got excess weight, and there are poses that are really difficult for me because of that. Um, so it's making the pose work for the body. That I just love it. I love that that all of the teachers are taking so much time, being so incredibly thoughtful, and they're just taking so much care to make sure that all of us we have a lot of questions, because it's like, okay, well, you know, we are all thinking of friends and family members who have who have different physical struggles, and um, how can we how can we move and shape these poses so that they will work for those bodies. And that's just really, really empowering and powerful. And it's also super exciting. um, and then also, there, we've also, just kind of as a group in general, I've had several conversations about this, of how will you, how will I, as a yoga teacher, draw people to yoga? And this is a question that we haven't presented to the teachers yet. It's just something that we who are attending have been kind of talking about amongst ourselves. So, how do we, you know, how do we basically get people excited about yoga? And how do we get people to not only try it, but to come back and do it again? You know, I think it depends on the person. Um, you know, for me, I'll just tell you the story of the first time I ever did yoga. It was January of 2011, and I was seeing a particular therapist at the time, and she said, "There's a class that I want you to go to, a dance class." She said, "And there might be some yoga involved as well." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know about that. What kind of a dance class are you talking about? And also yoga? Like, come on. Really? I'm not going to do that. That's just goofy." So that was my attitude going into it. And I had no intention of going to this class. My therapist called me on Thursday. The class was on Saturday. She called me on Thursday, and she said, "Ella, will you please go to this class? And this class is being held at this particular studio, and the name of the person facilitating it is Liz Tucker." I'm just going to put her name out there, Liz Tucker. Because probably many of you who are watching this video know Liz and love Liz. So anyway, so I was like, oh my God, my therapist called me and told me, asked me, told me again to go to this stupid thing on Saturday. Fine, I'll go. So I went. I made a friend of mine go with me. I was like, I'm not doing this alone. So I went, and I had never done yoga before, and I was so intimidated and terrified. And I kind of did the best I could with just sort of trying to mimic what I saw other people doing in the class whenever Liz would call out the name of a pose. And then she called out pigeon pose. And I kind of looked around, and I was like, okay, I see what people are doing. And so I kind of got into the pose as well as I could at the time. And all of a sudden, I felt these intense emotions coming up to the surface, and I started bawling. And, tears were just streaming down my face. I had no idea what was going on. I did not understand. And the remarkable thing is that thanks to Liz being an amazing teacher and really doing what she does so incredibly well, which is creating a safe space for people to explore whatever it is that they're there to explore. Um, because of that, there was something in me that was like, I don't know what this is, but I want more. And so, ever since January of 2011, I've just been in this dance with yoga. And, there have been times where I've gone months without practicing, and there have been times where I've practiced almost every day. And there's been, everything in between. So, um, one of the things that we've been talking about as teachers in training is how, what is our take? Like, what's my take as a teacher? How do I what voice do I have as a teacher that will help people will help welcome people to yoga? So that's just something, that's something that I'm really thinking about quite a lot. And I'm hoping that we will spend some time talking about that in the training. If not, then I'm sure that some of us will bring it up. Now, to be perfectly honest, if I had never done yoga in my life and I came to a training like similar to this, like a class, let's say, where we spent the whole time on getting your posture just right for, one pose, I'd be like, screw this, this is boring, and I'm never coming back, right? So, then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where if you're looking, um, for a brand new, someone who's brand new to yoga, and then like if they're expecting to come in and like just be dripping in sweat, well, you know, it's basically how do you manage the expectation? Um, how do you get people interested in exploring what yoga could mean for them while also staying true to yourself as a teacher, true to your own philosophy, your own discipline as a teacher, um, and while also inviting people, really inviting people to just try it out. And so that's something that I'm really thinking about quite a lot, because for some people, uh, you know, people will just resonate with certain teachers no matter what, and some people will never resonate with certain teachers no matter what. That's why, different strokes for different folks, right? Um, I I had never really consciously thought of yoga as meditation before coming to this training. I I guess I had thought of it as maybe a type of meditation, but not really consciously. I hadn't really consciously had that thought. So, um, I don't know. It's just I'm just have a lot of thoughts floating around in my head, and basically, um, the question was posed to us today of, why are you really here? Why are we really here at this training? Why am I really doing yoga? Why, really? And why do I want to become a teacher? These are big questions, and I could rattle off answers, but um, the reality is, I haven't fully articulated the why just yet. I'm still working on that. So I do, I'm starting to really understand how incredibly deeply beneficial yoga is for the body. I mean, I've always known this, okay? But I am witnessing it firsthand in my own body. I am able to do poses correctly now that I used to shy away from doing because I would feel pain when going into the poses. And cobra pose is a great example of that. I used to never do cobra pose because every time I would try to do it, I felt incredible, intense pain in my lower back. Well, as it turns out, I was not doing the pose properly. I did not have the correct alignment, and so that is why I had pain. And I will say that's kind of ubiquitous for any yoga pose. If you are in pain, not like, oh, my muscles are working, not that. I'm talking about pain where, you're still going to be feeling that pain after the fact. If you're in pain from doing yoga, that means you're not doing the pose correctly. Um, so that, I don't know, it's just amazing because I'm feeling the development of muscles that um, I had never activated before. Um, and I'm learning what poses create healing for the body in different, different areas of the body. It's just, it's really remarkable that this practice of yoga is, I mean, it is ancient at this point. It's been around for um, probably the first, I think, if I remember this right, from our philosophy lessons, um, the first yoga was recognized. I want to say 15,000 years ago. It's been around. It's ancient. It's been around longer than religion. So there you go. Any religion, by the way. um, so yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Um, there's so much to learn, and I'm just I'm loving it. I'm eating it up. It is exhausting, and also being in this place, Bali. It is so humid, and by the way, there are just so many bugs. Oh my God, the bugs. They never, they never go away. They never stop. They're relentless. So many bugs. Ants. I have seen more types of ants and more sizes of ants than I have ever seen in my life. I have seen so many bugs that I'm like, I have never seen a bug like that before. And if I never see a bug like that again, it will be too soon. So, yeah, you can't get away from the bugs here. The ants I'm finding are actually worse than the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are big and lumbering, so they're really easy to kill. Sorry, I gotta kill them before they bite me, because they will bite me. Anyway, um, there are things that I will not miss about Bali. The bugs. That's definitely one thing I will not miss. Another thing is the mold. There is mold in every indoor place that I've been into. There's mold. It's horrible. And of course, I'm allergic to mold. So I get stuffed up, when I'm indoors in the air conditioning. So, yeah, that's super fun. um, what else will I not miss about Bali? There are other things, but it's not worth getting into right now. But the mold is really the worst. It's the worst thing because you cannot escape it unless you're outside. Um, so yeah, and the sun is super intense because of course it's closer to the equator. Um, so yeah, the sun is really really intense. I obviously cannot be out in the sun. I will burn within a matter of minutes, even if I have on sunblock. So um, I just have to be really careful. I'm just not I'm not someone who thrives in an environment like this where it's just hot and humid and the sun is just beating down on you all the time. Um, it's just not it's not the best for me, but I am doing my very best. And I think I'm doing pretty well, honestly. I think I'm holding up pretty well. So, I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's lush. It's basically a jungle. You know, it is essentially a jungle, and so therefore there are all of the jungle type creatures. There are also chickens that just like wander around. Like, I mean, they're just wild chickens, and yeah, they're everywhere. Um, there are also dogs everywhere. I mean, just like laying in the middle of the street with like these scooters and cars going all around them. And it's like these dogs are fearless. They just lay there. They're just like, whatever. Like, I'm laying here. Like, you can go around me. They're fearless. I don't, it's, but, and they're all filthy. Like, all the dogs are filthy. None of them are neutered or spayed. And they all look like they've been hit by vehicles multiple times. They don't look healthy. So, just in general. So, yeah. This is a very interesting place. It's been a long time since I have had this level of like culture shock, if you will. Um, and so it's a little bit jarring, honestly. No, it's not. None of that is bad. It's just different, you know? Um, but, I've had several people ask me, well, are you enjoying the beauty of Bali? And I'm like, honestly, I am seeing this hotel, which is mostly outdoors. um, like even the restaurant is outside. There's no indoor anything. There's no reception. It's outside. It's all covered, but it's all just open air. You know. Um, so just a lot to get used to. But yeah, on I intended to do things on my day off yesterday, and I ended up sleeping. So obviously I needed it, but and I'm about to crawl. I mean, I'm literally in bed, so I'm about to like just get this video to posting and turning off the lights and calling it a night. So, um, yeah. Anyway, and I only have 2 extra days. Like our closing ceremony is on March the 3rd, and I leave to go back to Texas on March 5th. So I didn't really think that through very well. And now, unfortunately, I don't have the money to extend my stay. But I do feel I'm going to be ready to go back, actually, when I do. And, I feel certain that I'm going to be coming back to this part of the world sooner rather than later. So I just have a feeling that I'm going to be coming back. So pretty soon, like maybe in a year or less, maybe in a year. So anyway, I have been talking for a long time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to say. Um, I feel like this Bali does have a certain magic to it. It has a magical kind of energy. Um, there's a lot of happiness here. You know, people are just generally happy and pleasant. Um, and that makes a world of difference, honestly. Um, it's a very nice, it's a nice energetically, it's a very, really a great environment to come to learn, especially learning something as intense as what we are learning. Um, because of the vibe, I feel like my retention is higher than it would be if we were somewhere else. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but there it is. I'm throwing it out there. So um, if you've watched this whole video, then thank you very much for being here with me. And thank you, thank you, Liz Tucker, for introducing me to yoga in such a safe and nourishing way. Because obviously I got hooked, and here I am. Now I'm going to become a teacher too. And I'm super excited about that. So, okay, good night, everyone. Thank you for being here with me.